Hello, everybody. Welcome to today, where we celebrate the 12th Sunday of Ordinary Time. When we pay attention to the gospel, we really need to consider what is it that Jesus is speaking to each and every one of us here today. So let me give you a situation to which we have encountered, that all of us may have encountered once in our life. So each and every one of us here may continue to live a normal life, and then all of a sudden a challenge tends to pop up. An event pops up to the point where this is something that we would really need to accomplish in order for us to be able to continue on. And when we continue to do this event, we will come to realize that there are a lot of difficulties to which it's going to take place. Each and every one of us here have once been scared in our life. And Jesus wants to remind each and every one of us about the importance of not being afraid. Why is it that Jesus calls each and every one of us here not to be afraid? We know that God is with us as always, and He will never continue to forget each and every one of us. Think of this. When Mary was called by St. Gabriel, notice that even though the tensions were very high, even though bearing the child Jesus is going to create a lot of pain and suffering, notice that Mary said her immediate yes, despite the pains and costs to which she would have to offer. And despite the struggles, she continued to devote herself to God, which makes her earn the title the Mother of God. Each and every one of us here, as we continue to progress throughout our faith, also need to call into question, what exactly is the Lord striving to call each and every one of us here to do? As we continue to progress throughout our life, we will come to recognize who we are as an individual. Sometimes it may not be as what we think about ourselves. Sometimes we don't even know who we are at this very present moment, even despite what we think about ourselves. Sometimes we think we know too much, to the point where there are some aspects to which we do not recognize. And Jesus invites each and every one of us here to continue to go and recognize our personalities, so that each and every one of us here can understand the message to which God is bringing forth to each and every one of us here, especially as we continue to prepare to go throughout our journey of faith. And sometimes when we are called to do something, sometimes we are also afraid to do it because of the cost, because of what other people may continue to go to think about each and every one of us here. Sometimes some of us may be called to priesthood. Some of us may be called to a religious order. Some of us may be called to become a married couple. But regardless of our calling, notice that God continues to work through each and every one of us, and He will never continue to abandon all of us, especially as we continue to progress throughout our life. And let's look at Jesus, who is very, very determined when He continued to carry the cross. Notice that He carried heavy burden so that he can continue to save each and every one of us from our own struggles. So Jesus had died first before all of us so that he can open up the kingdom of heaven to bring each and every one of us here along. So each and every one of us, as we continue to progress throughout our life, need to come to realize the plan to which God has desired for each and every one of us. And it may take time to continue to recognize our calling. And because of this, we have to take our calling into prayer, noting why is it that the Lord continued to call each and every one of us to perform what the Lord had called each and every one of us here to do. When we come to recognize this, then we will further understand the plan and the mission to which God has set for each and every one of us here, especially as we continue to understand more about our journey of faith. As our journey of faith is going to be a very, very long journey, and each and every one of us, as we continue throughout our journey, will notice that there are going to be series of obstacles that get in the way from each and every one of us achieving our goal to which we desire for ourselves. So all of us, as we continue to progress throughout this life, need to come to realize what God has planned for each and every one of us, so that all of us can continue to go and produce fruit, so that each and every one of us here may come to recognize what God has planned and desired out of each and every one of us. And when we continue to do that, then we will come to recognize one of the core themes of why God continues to echo to each and every one of us never to be afraid. To not be afraid, we have to be determined. And to be able to become determined, we have to ask ourselves, how can we continue to change so that we are not afraid? What can we do so that we can overcome all of the fears that each and every one of us here have to continue to struggle through? And for example, some of us, as we continue to go perform in front of people, may notice fear. As we continue to prepare ourselves for this performance, our tensions continue to build up to the point where we fear of the crowd judging each and every one of us, where every move that we make, it's going to influence how they continue to respond to our own performance. So all of us, when we continue to do that, recognize that we have built this fear. But then, as we continue to progress throughout the performance, we will come to realize we're getting very, very used to the performance, to the point where God helped guide each and every one of us here through this performance. Our life is the same way. Each and every one of us here might be afraid in being able to fulfill the word of God because of what others continue to think about each and every one of us. But like Jesus continued to mention in the gospel, proclaim everything to the light. We have to continue to offer ourselves up to the Lord so that the Lord can continue to help guide each and every one of us here, especially as we continue to really recognize our own faith as we continue to grow and develop our mind and our heart. So Jesus today wants each and every one of us here to recognize one thing, and that is to not be afraid. to allow ourselves to be drawn closer to the Lord so that the Lord can continue to help guide each and every one of us here along the journey. Thank you to each and every one of you guys for taking the time to listen to this reflection, and for more videos like this, please consider liking and subscribing and commenting down below any questions I may have about the faith. Thank you.